own little entity. So let me see here. I think I'm finally live now in my Facebook group. So, okay, for you guys who are just joining me in the Facebook group, sorry, I was trying to stream on Instagram at the same time as my Facebook groups and my YouTube. So anyways, I know it takes a little bit for people to hop on here, so I'm going to give you a second. If you're tuning in and watching, I would love to know how your holiday has been. As you can see, I'm like wearing big fluffy shirts because I've eaten like 33 Mexican wedding cakes and 22 pieces of toffee and 17 sugar cookies, and that's just part of it. So I can't wait until tomorrow morning when I get my healthy routines back. So give me a second. I'm going to get myself propped up here so I'm not so low on you people who are joining me on the Facebook channels. Get my handy dandy stand out here. So hold on. Let me get organized. And I'm going to pop this up here. So bear with me. Get this out of the way. If you're streaming in, especially like on Facebook, say hello to me. I won't be able to check the comments because I am, oh, look at me. I've got like, you poor Instagram people are like, what just happened? This is a cluster. Holy smokes. Okay, I'm going to get myself sorted here. This is good because it takes people like 5 minutes anyways to like get on a Facebook Live. So I'm glad you guys are seeing like all the chaos in the background. But if you're just joining, hi, Lisa. I see some Instagram people on here. Oh yes, I need somebody to create like a software system that allows me to streamline to Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all on one device, because right now I can only stream to Facebook and YouTube at the same time on one device, and then I have to have another device to be streaming on Instagram. So anyways, I would love to know how your holidays have been. Drop a comment. Tell me what it's like. How are you feeling today? I feel just like yucky because I've eaten a ton of sugar for the last 3 weeks. So tomorrow I'm going to get back on track because I just feel like I'm going to bust through my pants here. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys about a topic that I think is really helpful, and it might be something that you've never heard of before, but it's really, there's this quote, and I think I've kind of tweaked. Oh my God. Now my mom is trying to call me, so it's pausing on my Instagram. But there's this quote that I really love, and I'm not going to say it just right because I kind of put my Kim Strobel feel on it. But what we know is that people will sometimes literally, like, we don't know we're doing it, but we will actually sabotage our ability to feel positive feelings. We will sabotage our ability to feel happiness or to achieve success or to lose weight or to begin a workout routine. Like, there's actually inner workings that are happening in our mindset that we're not aware of that are impeding our ability to feel positive feelings. And I know that sounds crazy because all of us, we are like, why would I want to do that? I want to feel happy. I want to feel abundant. I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel joy. I want to feel gratitude. Like, why would we not want to feel those feelings? And it's not that we don't want to feel those feelings. It's that we don't have an internal locus of control inside of our mindset that says, hey, this feels normal to me. This feels comfortable to me. And so what I mean by that is we all do this. Brene Brown talks about it. She calls it foreboding joy. She's like, and honestly, when I read this in one of Brene Brown's books, she alleviated a ton of like guilt for me, because she talks about how she would literally stand over her daughter's bed and she would conjure up, like, she'd had a great day with her daughter. They'd gone to the park and just had this wonderful like mommy and me day. And she's like, that night when I put her to bed, I was literally standing over her bed and I was conjuring up, like, my mind was coming up with like terrible thoughts. Like, what if she dies in a car accident? Or what if somebody does something terrible to her sometime? Or what if she has an accidental death? And she's like, why am I doing this? Like, I had such a great day of feeling so wonderful. Like, why am I conjuring up like these terrible images in my mind of all of this bad stuff that could happen to my daughter? And she said that it's called foreboding joy. Like we are afraid to allow ourselves to feel too much of a positive feeling because we kind of have a scarcity mindset. And we're like, oh, it's that old adage that's like, hey, now get ready because things have been going really well for a long time. So the ball's about to drop. Like that is a mistaken belief that we all have in our minds. And so when things are feeling really, really good, we actually start to get nervous because we're like, oh, it can't be this good. Something bad has got to happen. And so she was just talking about how like, we will actually manufacture like a stream of painful images in our mind because we feel good. And so we're like, ooh, we want to prepare ourselves for the bad that's going to come rather than just letting ourselves really experience positive feelings for an extended amount of time. And so when like a person reaches that limit of how good they can feel or how wealthy they can feel or how peaceful they can feel or how calm they can feel, it actually starts to feel uncomfortable to them. This, like for me, I'm going to give you 2 examples of how I think this plays out in my life. One is, I can tell you right now, I'm not comfortable being a calm person. Like I want to be peaceful and I want to be calm and I meditate and I do things to try to help me, but calm and walking like at a normal pace and moving at a normal pace and even thinking at a normal pace, that feels really uncomfortable to me. It feels foreign to me. And so even though like I think I'm going through my life and it's like, oh, this is how, this is what it feels like to be peaceful or to be relaxed. And even though I want more of that in my life, my body and mind are so used to like the chase of it all that it's like it feels so uncomfortable that I'll actually do something to make myself get busy, which is a problem, right? It's an upper limit problem. That's what Gay Hendricks calls it. And so what happens is we do what feels comfortable to us. And what we don't understand is that if we don't learn how to break those internal patterns, then we limit ourselves on how much of anything we will really truly allow ourselves to attract into our life. And so like we're in my workshop on Wednesday, which by the way, you still have time. You still have 3 days to sign up. I'm going to be going really deep into those inner belief systems that are actually preventing us from creating more of what we want in our life. And I'll talk more about that at the end of this if you're interested. But what happens is, so many times I think we have these limiting beliefs. And even though these limiting beliefs are well-intentioned, okay, they're well-intentioned because they're meant to protect us. And I'll give you another example. When I started Strobel Education, my education part of my consulting business, and when I started that in 2016, it was like this giant leap of faith. Like I was like, maybe I'm putting my family's financial future at risk. Maybe I'm going to be a failure and everybody's going to laugh at me and say like, who did Kim Strobel think she was to leave the classroom and, go out and start her own business? Like I had so many fears and I was like, I have one client. Like, how am I going to make this work? How am I going to replace my teacher salary or do even better? Because now I have to make up for the fact that we don't have insurance anymore because I've taken this leap of faith. And so I had a lot of limiting beliefs, but I also, for the last 15 years, have really practiced, the law of attraction, and really adjusting the inner part of my mindset to be projecting more of what I really want to experience in life. And that's what I'm going to talk about in the 90-minute training on Wednesday. But because I had done a lot of the inner work, right? When I launched Strobel Education in 2016, like it grew so unbelievably fast that it was crazy. Like I went from, and I've said this before, but like I went from like nobody knowing me to saying, hey, I want to be a motivational speaker. And, 2 years later, I'm landing, 50 keynotes in the summer of 2017, something crazy like that. And so I specifically remember the upper limit problem that I started to have because my internal body must have had an internal kind of thermostat that said, hey, you can experience this much success because you've done your mindset work. And so you're going all in on this, and you're going to train your brain to see yourself as if what it is you want to create. But there was still a limit a little bit to like how much I was really allowing myself to feel that success. And so let me give you an example of that. This would have been in May of 20, let's see, I launched in January of 2016. It would have been in either May of 2017 or May of 2018. And my husband and I were in this like luxurious resort because my business had done really well. We took a 7-day vacation in a luxury resort. We're sitting on the beach. I think we were in Punta Cana. And I was like sitting on the beach, and I remember like, oh my gosh, like I am staying at such a nice resort. I would have never pictured myself really at this kind of resort. And I was thinking about how well my business did and how word was really getting out about, the business was just growing crazy, and I was starting to become somewhat of a known name in the education industry. And so I'm sitting on this beautiful beach. I have a cocktail. My husband's next to me. The blue ocean is out in front of us. And I was like letting myself feel a certain amount of like joy and gratitude and appreciation. And then my upper limit problem kicked in. My internal thermostat kicked in. All right. And so we all have an internal thermostat. And it really works kind of like the thermostat in your house. It's this thermostat setting that really determines how much love, success, happiness, joy, creativity, abundance, whatever, all of those things. We all have an internal thermostat that says, hey, this is how much I will allow myself to receive and enjoy all of this. And so what happens is your internal thermostat is your beliefs that you hold about yourself. And as I've told most of you, your beliefs are driving how much of anything you're experiencing, how much happiness, how much joy, how much peace, how much abundance, how much creativity, how much, all of that is being driven by these beliefs that you hold about yourself. And those beliefs are like your internal thermostat. And all of us have an internal thermostat that says, you know, I'm really only capable of this much success or this much potential or this much luxury or this much love. Like we all have this internal kind of locus of control that says, I'm only allowed to experience this much of that. And that's all I'm comfortable with. And so, yeah, you're exactly right, Lisa. In the 4 agreements, they call these things tribal beliefs by Don Ruiz. I love that. Tribal beliefs. These are beliefs that we have carried in us for so long, you guys. And in the workshop on Wednesday, for those of you who are watching that are already signed up, I'm doing a 90-minute workshop. And it's really going to be focused on, I'm going to give you the 5 major steps that I use to work with my inner thermostat setting so that I can create what used to feel like the impossible in my life. So here I am, I'm sitting on this beach, right? I'm like, I can't believe my business. I can't believe the year we've had. I can't believe how on fire I feel about what I get to wake up and do every day. I can't believe that my husband and I are at this wonderful resort for 7 days surrounded by beauty and all of this stuff. And then all of a sudden my thought went, you know what? Something's got to go wrong here. Like this is not normal for a person to launch their business and have this much success, which means that something bad is going to happen. My business is going to crash in the next year. I'll never have another year like I have now. And I started to create this like stream of images because I was afraid to let myself feel that much success. And so I caught myself because I knew about the upper limit problem. I knew about internal beliefs and how those are always driving your success. So I acknowledged what I was feeling, but then I used my tool set to really pivot myself and say like, you know, let's flip the script here, right? It's not that like, yeah, that's crazy. Who experiences that amount of success within the first 2 years? Well, I have an identity that says me. I carry an identity. I work on my mindset every damn day. Why wouldn't I have that kind of success? And so the point is, I caught myself. But when we're thinking about this thermostat setting that we all have, okay, you have a thermostat setting that says, hey, I'm really only going to allow myself to feel this much joy. I'm really only going to allow myself to have this much success. I'm really going to only allow myself to feel this good in my relationship or in love, right? Because believe it or not, when you push through that thermostat setting, you feel uncomfortable because you don't have an inner framework or an inner structure that supports that new belief. This is why people who win the lottery, 99% of people who win the lottery, 4 or 5 years after winning the lottery, they go back to being as broke as they were before. You know why? Because they haven't worked with the infrastructure. They haven't done the internal work. They haven't re-identified as a wealthy person. And so they literally will sabotage themselves because they can't hold on to the money, because they don't have a belief system that can hold that kind of wealth. And like I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about this on Wednesday if you're signed up for the training. But basically, our internal thermostats were programmed in childhood, like early childhood, before we can even think for ourselves. And our poor parents, and those of us who are parents, we're doing the same thing to our kids, right? But what happens is in our childhood, we get programmed. Like I always laugh because one of the things my dad programmed in us at the supper table was like, you always clean your plate. Like you're going to eat everything on your plate because there are children starving. Like as bad as this sounds, he would say this, and my dad is a wonderful human being, but he'd be like, there are children starving in Ethiopia. You're going to eat everything on your plate. And I'm always like, I'm surprised I don't, obviously I have a sugar problem, but I'm surprised that I don't have a huge overeating problem, because I have this belief system that like food is scarce and we have to eat everything that we eat, right? Because that was something that was programmed in my childhood. And so what happens is once you have this thermostat that's programmed that says, hey, you're really only allowed to achieve these kind of things in your life. You're really not capable of so much more. Once you have that thermostat programmed, what it does is it really holds you back. It holds you back from experiencing more happiness or more joy or more abundance or more creativity or more potential, because you are holding yourself back by your beliefs. You're actually sabotaging yourself because it feels so uncomfortable to feel so good that you will actually do something so that you go back to your thermostat setting that you're used to. It's like the lottery winners. They will sabotage all the money they won within 4 to 5 years because it doesn't feel comfortable to them. They don't have an infrastructure that supports that kind of feeling. And so they'll lose all their money. So they go back, even though it's worse, right? Even though they go back to broke, at least that's where they're comfortable. That's how they know how to operate. And so, what happens is we have to really learn how to overcome this upper limit problem that we all hold. And I always tell people, like on Wednesday, I'm doing the 90-minute training. I'm going to walk people through the law of attraction. I'm going to walk you through how to change your mindset, but not just how to change your mindset, how to actually change your identity as a human being. It's like my friend Monica says, you're never going to lose weight unless you see yourself as someone who weighs less. If you can't identify as someone who weighs less, you're never going to be someone who weighs less. If you can't identify as someone who is a runner, like if you want to be a runner, but you can never see yourself in that identity, you're never going to be a runner, because your thoughts are driving your beliefs are driving your actions are becoming your habits, and your habits are your reality. Which is why we say, your thoughts are creating your reality all of the time. And so what we really have to do is we have to create a new identity. That's exactly what I'm going to do on Wednesday in this 90-minute workshop. I'm actually going to work with the people who have signed up. And if you want the link, I'll put it in the comment section like I always do, because you still have time to sign up, folks. On Wednesday, I'm going to walk you through a 90-minute training where I actually teach you how to create a new identity. I'm going to give you specific strategies for how to raise your energetic vibration so that that energetic vibration can align with other people, circumstances, opportunities, and situations who are carrying that same energetic vibration. That is how you start to create more of what you want in life. You can want it all you want, but if you're not going to do the inside work, if you're not going to take on the identity of whatever that dream is that you want for your life, you won't be able to create it. You have to do the inner work. And so you actually have to become someone who is already achieving those goals. And we know this is all about energetic vibration. I'm going to teach a ton about that on Wednesday. This is why people say you are the average. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I'm still going over here on, because my phone locked up. Jeez. All right, hold on. I'm reconnecting. Sorry, Instagram. This is why people say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Everything is energy, you guys. The microphone is energy. This water bottle is energy. This book is energy. Everything has an energetic vibration, and it's always attracting other things of similar energy. And so this is why the quote that says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Here's why. Because you're an energy field. So you're taking on their beliefs. You're taking on their energy. You have to be really careful about, like, especially when I think I see Jason watching this, if you're somebody who's starting your own business and you're surrounding yourself with people who are sending you fear, who are like, hey, this is a big risk. You're really, your financial future could be at stake. You may never recover from this. If you take this big, giant, risky leap of faith, those people, if you're around the people like that, who are always like sending you the negative messages of like, be scared and this might not work and don't get too uncomfortable because you need to stay on your lily pad and you need to stay safe and don't take these kind of risks. It's not worth it. Let me just tell you, you're going to be a person who doesn't take risk. If you surround yourself with people who won't invest in themselves, won't give themselves self-care, don't know how to love themselves enough to know that they're worth it, then you probably will not be worth it either. And so you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And listen, I spend time with women who are like way more successful than me in all areas. I have one friend who's like wildly successful in her career. And I love being around her energy because when I'm around her, she raises the limit on what I think is possible for my life. I have another friend who's actually a stay-at-home mom, but she is a great person for me to be with because she's like this phenomenal mom. She's like super calm, super grounded, super laid back. She's super oriented towards her family. And so like, that's the gift that she brings to me, right? No, she's not out there like being this successful businesswoman because that's not her calling. She's a successful mom and wife. And so when I'm around her, I feel like it just, that's someone who aligns with how I want to be. And so when I'm talking about the people that you spend time with, it's not that you have to be around people who are wealthy or you have to be around people who are like, super successful in their business, but you do want to be around people who are better than you. Like I always wanted to teach next door to the teacher in the school who was the best damn teacher in the school because I knew that's how I would be a better teacher. I always wanted to run against people who were faster than me because they would make me a better runner, right? And so we have to think about that because that's the energy. That it's all about an energy exchange. And so if you're going to be around people who, I'll just be honest, because some of you young people who might be watching this, if you're going to be around people who are smoking weed every day, you're going to start smoking weed every day. All right. And I'm not saying that smoking weed is like a terrible thing. I don't know. There's probably some great benefits to it. So I'm not knocking that. But if you're doing it every day and it's making you lazy, you probably are, and you're around other people who are doing that, you're going to realize that your ambitions are a lot lower. If you're around somebody who drinks all the time, if you're around people who, you're probably going to be drinking a lot more. If you're around people who eat out all the time, you're probably going to be eating out all the time too. I mean, you have to think about these things. You have to think about who do you want to be? And then you have to set up an environment that is conducive to the energy level of what you want to bring and create in this life. And it all comes from your thoughts. Your thoughts are constantly driving your beliefs, people. And we all have negative thoughts. We're programmed to be negative people. We just are, right? It goes way back to archaic times whenever When we were cavemen and women, right, our brains had to scan our environment all of the time for danger. Like, can we leave the cave? Or is there a snowstorm that's going to freeze us to death? Do we have fire? Do we have food? Do we have a water source? Like in the caveman days, our brains had to constantly scan for negative things. That's what protected us. The problem is, folks, is it's 2020, almost 2021, and most of us don't have to worry about a saber-toothed tiger chasing us. Most of us don't have to worry if there's a water source nearby. Most of us don't have to worry, for the most part, if we're going to stay warm tonight. But our brains are programmed to scan for negativity unless you teach it a new neural pathway. And so your thoughts are always going to create the beliefs that you have about yourself, which means we have to change the inside. We have to work on your mindset, because when you change what you say to yourself, you then change the outcome of what you're able to experience in life. Okay. And that's why I have this whole theme going, right? Like living from the inside out. Because you can want it all you want. You can want to be the best basketball player, football player, track runner, businesswoman, wife, mom, whatever. You can want to be happy, or you can want to do all of these things. But if you don't have an infrastructure in place that is supportive of that belief system, you won't be able to get it. So you have to work with the infrastructure. You have to work with the belief system. I work on that every damn day, you guys. It's why I do my 10 gratitudes every day. It's why I write my 10 affirmations every day. It's why when I'm running the streets of Tell City, I saw myself on the stage for 3 years before I ever launched my business, because I didn't know anything about being a businesswoman. I didn't know anything about how to launch a business. But what I did know was that I was really good at speaking. So I started to see myself on the stage until I took on the identity of I am a motivational speaker. Right. And then, of course, those opportunities started to come my way. So I wanted to hop in here. I know many of us are getting ready to hop into the new year. We're reviewing this past year. We're looking at things that went well, things that were really damn hard, because there was a lot of hard stuff that happened this year. But we also have this great opportunity with this energy coming in, the new year energy, to say, hey, what is the identity that I want to take on? And then how can I create a belief infrastructure that supports that identity? All right. So if you want to know more about how to do this, like I said, I'm doing the 90-minute workshop on Wednesday. And if you join and you can't make it, it's the course. You get the whole course for 9 months. You can watch it whenever you want. But I'm actually going to walk you through how to take on the identity of whatever it is that you want to create more of in your life. Because many times we don't even know, I don't know what I want more of. What kind of dreams do I want? What kind of ambitions do I have? What kind of success do I want to experience? What kind of opportunities do I want to come my way? And so in the 90-minute training on Wednesday, I'm actually going to walk you through how to identify that, because you have to first know the road you're traveling. You have to know, hey, this is what I want. Now, here's the mindset work behind that, so that I can actually set up an infrastructure that supports my goals, desires, and dreams. So if you're on Instagram and you're watching and you want to get your spot in that workshop for Wednesday, you can go to my bio on Instagram. You can click in there. The name of the workshop is called Create Massive Momentum 2021. I think Create Massive Momentum. You can sign up. There's 2 days left. Get your spot. If you're on Facebook, I will literally go in and put the link in there for those of you who are wanting to learn how to create really this infrastructure that supports you creating more momentum in 2021. Because the bottom line is, Sean Aker says in his book, Big Potential, he says most human beings are only utilizing 10% of their potential. 10%, my friends, you're only using 10% of your potential. That means 90% is up for grabs. Okay. Which means you're capable of so much more than what you think or know. You are. You have to create that infrastructure, though, that supports that. Okay. So anyways, I hope you all have had a great holiday. I hope you've gotten some rest and rejuvenation. I hope you haven't eaten as many Mexican wedding cakes, sugar cookies, toffee, puppy chow as I have. But tomorrow I'm taking on the identity that I am back to being a healthy eater. So anyways, thanks for joining me. I can't wait to jump in and check out the comments. Bye, everyone.